Let us go back to the late 19th century. A young monk from India is making his way to the United States of America for the first time on a ship. And he was provided a first-class ticket by the people who were sponsoring him. He was none other than Swami Vivekananda. And because he was in the first-class cabins, he got to meet a very interesting man who was making the same journey. The route was toward Tokyo and thereafter to the west coast of America. The other person traveling with him was none other than the founder of the Tata Group, Jamshed Tata. And because it was a long sea journey, they got talking. Jamshed Tata was most intrigued, most impressed by this amazingly brilliant person who talked to him not only about spirituality, but about technology, science, values, philanthropy, what it truly means to be a business person. A man of the world also has some responsibilities. And if he can set a good example, that is the basis of building an empire. So all along the journey they talked. When they got off in Japan for a little bit in the break during the journey, Jamshed Tata took Vivekananda to see a match factory because Jamshed Tata's vision was to create a very large-scale match manufacturing unit in India. But Vivekananda went on the tour with him but told him that his destiny lies in industry, in science and technology, not in matchmaking. And he also told him that Jamshed Tata is to pay attention to values, to respect the value of taking people along, of educating them, of empowering them. And they say that this one journey of Jamshed Tata changed not only his own destiny, but the destiny of India and the industrial scenario of Asia. Because Jamshed Tata came back, he decided to get into industry. And he also decided to open the Indian Institute of Science, believing in the value of empowering people through education, through training, through making people follow you and to fulfill their own aspirations. So the whole value-based system of the great Tata Group came from this young monk. It's a very rare story, we don't hear it nowadays, but it is there in the Tata archives. And the company continues on its value-led journey, which is why it's grown into such a major multinational entity today. So is it with some other business groups who have flourished in India, the Birlas and others. There's always been a focus toward business, but at the same time, values are not forgotten. And so is it even with young organizations. It is values which are the bedrock, the foundation. To build on this incident with Jamshed Tata, I must tell you another story. The second story I'm telling you on the same note is about the same young monk, Vivekananda. But while he was his earlier days in America, when he was not very well known, as a young man, he made his way to New York and he was staying at a friend's house. One industrialist friend came to know that there's this very brilliant young sannyasi, this monk from India, and he wanted to consult him. That industrialist went to his friend's house where Vivekananda was staying, knocked on the door. The butler said the owners of the house were not there. But this man, his name was none other than John D. Rockefeller, said he wanted to meet the monk. So the butler showed him into Vivekananda's study. Vivekananda did not even look up. And Rockefeller, being a little arrogant, was a little offended. But nonetheless, he sat down and he asked Vivekananda, "Do you know why I'm here?" And Vivekananda looked at him and said, "I know exactly why you are here. I'm here to tell you something which you have never heard before." At that point of time, Rockefeller was a successful businessman, but he was nowhere near the richest man in America. And they say that Vivekananda told Rockefeller about values, about how existence is going to give Rockefeller a lot of good fortune based on his hard work, of course, but how through that respect for values, John D. Rockefeller will create a philanthropic organization, the Rockefeller Foundation, which today continues to be one of the most significant philanthropic ventures in history. And in fact, the great Warren Buffett and even the Bill Gates Foundation has been founded on the lines of the Rockefeller tradition of philanthropy. He was the first great industrialist world over to create philanthropy on such a scale, based on values, based on helping other people. From there on, they say he never looked back. Both his business and his foundation grew from strength to strength. And so must we all, in all our situations of work, look at basing our work on values. For then not only do we give back to society, to the world, but we empower our own selves and create a respect for ourselves within this environment which we have to work in. And so too is it with many organizations around the world, the Birlas and several others in our own country too.